Jesus was not a black man. I saw this well-known preacher on Easter Sunday was saying he was preaching that Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, the death, burial, and resurrection that they preach about was all about the persecution of a black man, and that how Jesus was a black man. I was watching as men stood up in the room and they're shedding tears over this nonsense, and my heart is broken because I'm thinking, man, what you're hearing right now in this moment is not even consistent with the Word of God. I know some of you got him hanging on your wall, a black man with locks, but Jesus was not a black man. We know from history and we know from the Word of God that Jesus was an ethnic Jew.
During the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, over 1 million Hebrews fled south through Egypt into Ethiopia, until eventually migrating and settling on the west coast. The ones who could not escape were captured by the Romans and sold into Europe as slaves in Spain and in Portugal. Lots of them remained until the Inquisitions and to the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, when they gave an edict that all Jews were expelled from the country. These are the Jews who the so-called Sephardic Jews are supposed to descend from. But before you think about Jerry Seinfeld, let's see what history has to say about the Jews of Spain.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered? Because they went west.
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean,
Caribbean,
South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Professor Tudor Parfit at the Department of Religious Studies at Florida International University, in his book, Black Jews in Africa and the Americas, he writes, and I quote, "The idea that the Jews were black persisted into the 19th century." And he goes on to say, 19th century physical anthropologists in general assumed that Jews had a close racial, that is, blood connection with blacks. You see, in general, it was a common understanding during medieval times that the Hebrews were black.
Strategy. Black Jews, whether they be in America or whether they be in Africa or whether they be in Papua New Guinea, they automatically enter directly into the annals of Western sacred history. They are part of the original players. They are relatives of Jesus, the patriarchs, the prophets, the saints. And it's a wonderful kind of liberation from the trauma of the African condition since the beginning of slavery.
To our next reference, and here's the title. I'll give you a moment to look that over. And just going to go ahead and turn the page. Let's go to our next reference on page 118. And it reads, "In regard to the human race, it has been shown abundantly and historically that each of the external differences often ceases to be characteristics. Thus, the black color is found not only in individuals, as the black Jews of Portugal, but in the tribes as Bacaris on the Red Sea, whose hair and character are perfectly Semitic." All right, let's read that just one more time. This is the last sentence. It says, "Thus the black color is found not only in individuals as the black Jews of Portugal." So again, this is pointing out that the Jews in Portugal were black. So anyone that says in their videos that the Jews could be anything but black, obviously hadn't read these references, because this was the understanding in the books back in the 1800s. Okay. In his book, The Image of the Black in Jewish Culture, by Professor Abraham Malman, a professor at the Department of Jewish History and Thought at the University of Haifa in Israel. In his book, he writes, and I quote, "A strong European tradition dating back to the Middle Ages maintained that Jews were black, or at least swarthy, and find sharp expression in modern anti-Semitic literature.
You see, old books describe the Hebrews as black. This is not something made up by black people in America in the 1800s or the 1900s.
Decolonize.